Philosophy is often seen as being a really quite abstract subject, and if you picked up any sort of major work by any major philosopher, you will probably agree, and that's largely because those works of philosophy, especially more modern philosophy, are academic in nature. So, as a result, that requires a level of abstraction. So when we think about philosophy on a personal level, like things that we can do and use and think about ourselves, we need to remove some of that abstraction and bring it back into our sort of world of subjective experience. And some of the things that you read in philosophy, that's really easy. And one of those, a really easy process to go through. And one of those things is what I want to talk to you about now, which is the spheres of control idea by the Stoics, the Greek and Roman philosophers. So they had this idea that there are three spheres of control. So you have your sphere of direct control, then outside of that you have your sphere of influence, and then outside of that you have basically everything else outside of everything that's outside of your control or influence. And the reason I bring this up is because this is actually a really practical and useful, helpful tool in our day-to-day lives. So when we face a situation, we can first and foremost stop before we react and think. And that's one of the great things about this particular framework, is that it forces you to stop and think. So when you think about the obstacle ahead of you, you can think about, right, so what is it within this situation that I can directly control? So when you figure out those things, and that will be quite a small list of things most of the time, you can then extrapolate out from there and think about, right, so what are the things that I can't directly control, but I am able to exert some influence over, and all of those things go into there. And in order to exert influence over those things, you focus on the things you can't that you can control. And as I say, outside of all of that, we have everything else that's outside of our control or influence. And this framework will enable you to cut through all the noise and figure out what you actually need to focus on, where you need to put your time, your energy, and your mental capacity to deal with this obstacle. You focus on the things that are within your control, and that has an outward effect on the things that you can influence, and you don't worry about the rest.